All right, welcome everybody. Let me put my little lavalier on. Welcome everybody to the next Association Upgrade podcast. I'm here with Shaw Perry from New Jersey, and we may be getting joined later on by a few other folks that'll join in with us. But today we want to talk about tools that have helped us get through the pandemic. And the thing is, with this virtual environment that we're in, it's probably not going to change anytime soon. I know for us as an office here, we're looking at keeping it this way for the next several months. So it's not like we're going to change. Everybody comes back into the office. We're actually looking at other facilities. I mean, this building the building that we have are in, we could easily fit 50 people, but right now we're having maybe 10 people at any one time. And so it's really changed the dynamic of the workplace. And to get through those things, I've picked up on a few tools that have helped my job to get through my job easier. And I figured these are types of things that busy association professionals we want to take advantage of. And Shah, I know when we were talking before this, I was mentioning some of the tools to you, and you were saying, hey, why don't you teach me about some of these tools? So
today I am generally here to learn more from Lex. If you are another association, I honestly believe that you should reach out to Lex and build a relationship. And he's the type of guy that would be like, oh, I'll hold your hand via email.
Yeah, let me see. And well, basically, let me go through some of the tools to start out with. And Shah, I know that you've been using tools. You don't quite know it yet. I know you've been saying, oh, I've just been using Zoom. Well, there's a lot of things that that you use that it's just part of your daily life. You don't realize, oh, that's a tool that some might actually be useful to another team member in another state. And so that's why we're kind of going through this exercise today. And let's start with tool number one. For me, and again, Shah, you could be kind of the question and answer for the audience here. For me, the first tool I found that's been incredibly useful for me and my team has been a unified social inbox. And I can share my screen in terms of how that works. Let me do that here, share screen. And let's see, that'll be too many monitors.
Is this anything like Hootsuite?
No, this is, okay. Although Hootsuite kind of does the similar type of thing. This is called, the tool that we use is called Jupy, Juphy.com. And it's different than Hootsuite because I do know Hootsuite and a lot of these other tools have messaging within their apps. But I've found that in terms of bringing in other team members that specifically deal with just the response and monitoring, a dedicated unified inbox has been helpful because you don't necessarily want to give your media consultants access to all of your social media posting capabilities, but you do want them to be able to potentially respond to some queries and to some of these things. And what we've done here, for example, we have a lot of our channels in this one. And this just kind of shows you some of the activities today. We're able to view all of our, if we wanted to just view maybe our one thing for Instagram or Facebook, we could do that here. But with Jupy, what we do is we've got team members assigned, and we're able to see all of our posts on a regular basis, all in one place. So it connects to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Gmail. So if you have a Gmail-based solution, and a lot of associations have a Gmail account that they use for customer support for some other things, in addition to what they're doing for regular email, you're probably using Office 365. This consolidates that in one place. And why this is valuable, because I know that there are those other tools, is that we can easily share this with a media consultant. We've hired a PR firm that helps us monitor some of the media that are out there and helps us formulate messages as a response. Well, one of the things that we tend to forget as associations, because we have so many things going on, where we put a lot of emphasis in the local publication or the TV stations, as we should, but we also forget about the social media. And so with this thing, this allows you to track that. But here's the other thing too. It also allows you to set up automation rules so that you could set up in these types of social inboxes, you can create an automation where if there's a negative phrase that's displayed, it automatically assigns a tag, which you could have it, either hide or respond to later on or curate later on, so that you can have yourself or a media person go through it and say, okay, these are all the negative responses. What do we do with them from across all of your media, all of your social media assets? So again, it's not so much the just the inbox side, it's the automation side. And that's the other benefit of having a dedicated social inbox. There's a number, and you can just Google it, social inbox tools. The one that we use is Jupy, Juphy. And just because it's inexpensive and it's easy. And so that's what we use this for. And then of course, you could curate by just by Facebook or by something else, and then you're just kind of just pinging through that. In this case, we just have it defaulted so it goes through everything. So that's an example of one of the tools that we have. Any questions on that, Shah?
Yes. So I did find it fascinating that it can form an automation for negative reviews on each of. So does it, which is a great feature for either hide it, which I'm told is not a great thing to do. It's best to respond to the negative review as best as you possibly can.
Correct.
So what is the turnaround time? Does it automatically send you an email? Does it do a ping notification?
Well, it tags it so that you can curate it later on. So if, let's say, you just want to go through and you want to initially look through negative reviews first, and fortunately, knock on wood, we haven't had too many of those.
Okay.
But we can, we're able to treat these almost as customer support tickets as well. That's the other thing, is you can't necessarily do that with some of the other social media management tools. If we have several people, let's say you have an intern and you have contractors, and you want to assign them, oh, this is a member communications thing, or this is a member query, you could then push this over to a member from your membership team, and then they can respond to it and they can close the ticket out. So it basically turns social media messages into almost like a customer support query. So that's one tool that I've been finding has been helpful.
And you found that it's reasonably priced.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of other ones out there. They typically have a free version that's available out there. So
what's the lowest? Do you know off the top of your head? Is it below $20 a month or above $20 a month? Without giving the exact price.
I believe you can get these for easily below $20 a month.
Okay.
If not this other ones, I've seen a lot of other options out there, but Jupy is the one that seems to work for us. But they're fairly inexpensive, so you could probably. And a lot of times these folks have freemium models, so that you could you could just use the freemium model for a while, and if it works for the organization, then you could just go to that and not have to worry about it. So.
And does it cover all platforms? Twitter?
Yeah, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, obviously the Facebooks, all of those things. And they're rolling out, at least with this solution, they're rolling out a Facebook group version of this, so that you're able to this is a different tool. So you're able to manage your closed Facebook groups as well through this, as well as YouTube. So it's just one way to have everything consolidated. And as a lot of times associations are just have a very small team, you might have one dedicated communications person, and it might seem just overwhelming to try to capture these things when you check every channel every day. This way, we only have, in this case, we only have 2 people during the last 24 hours. Not a big deal. Nothing malicious, right? We're so excited, and we're reopening indoor dining. So it tells you, but again, it's for that 1%, right? Or the 1% of the time where you have a problem with something, and then you got to respond to it quickly. This is one way to capture those fairly easily. But again, if you have things like, and it kind of leads us to the second thing, which is social media management. So what do you use, Shah, for social media management?
We do have Hootsuite, but we don't use it as much. So we kind of manage it in-house on an individual basis, and we had an outside PR person also posting on our social media. So that's why I'm very much a guest today, to see what is out there and what's the the best tool that New Jersey could use, because social media has become a big component of any association in 2020 moving forward.
Yeah. The next thing is a social media management tool. One of the things that we use, and there's a ton of these out there. One of the ones that we use is something called Publr. And let me log in here, kind of see you.
I think I heard of that. I might have signed up for it, but never used it.
Yeah, they've got a free model, but we've got, oh great, I gotta forget my password there. Basically what they are is, and this is again fairly inexpensive. You could actually get a free one if you have 5 social accounts. You could do most of the things, and you could have up to 50 scheduled posts. So this is one of those ones, Shawty, you might want to try if it's free. And then if you wanted to have something a little bit more robust, and you could have unlimited after it works for you, you could have a number of social media accounts as well, and then limited scheduling at $10 a month. So this is one of those tools that, again, has been really helpful for us. For us, it's because of the number of teams that we sort through. We don't have just one person posting to social media. We have different team members posting to social media. So we actually have a 6-member user account that we're using every single one of those. Mm-hmm. And so we've got our business development team that has an account. We've got somebody from our public relations that has an account, and we have a couple members from our communications teams that have an account. And the nice thing about this is then you can auto schedule. So the important thing in social media is that you don't just post as it happens. It's also important to have some sort of evergreen content to keep your members engaged. And the nice thing about these types of tools is you could schedule these. And right now, they recently launched an Instagram post scheduler. So I know a big problem, and I believe that's also available in the free account, so you might want to give that a shot, is before you had to post to Instagram through your phone. But recently, Instagram launched their API capabilities so that if you have an Instagram business account, you could actually go in here and it could be part of your schedule. So let's say you're posting for an event and or a webinar, and you already know what the posts are going to be. But the importance of posting on a regular basis multiple times is people look at their social media accounts, your members are, at different times, and so you want to capture some of that. So if you're going to post about an event or a webinar or something, that type of stuff, you're probably going to want to post, 4 or 5 times over the course of the week, the exact same thing to different things, maybe with a slight shift in language, maybe a different graphic or something like that. And this easily allows that. You can get this done. You could get like a week's worth of posts done probably within 30 minutes. And then what that does is you've got your steady flow of posts going through the rest of the week. And then when you have like breaking news, which what we're all focusing on, then you can just go into this tool and again broadcast that post out to 5 different social media channels all at one time. The nice thing about this tool is, again, the team collaboration. It does do some analytics, but it also allows you to customize each one. So you schedule, okay, our state's going to 100% opening indoor dining now. Well, you want to announce that to your members, but as we all know, Facebook posts differently than Instagram, which posts differently than Twitter, which posts differently than Pinterest or LinkedIn. And so you want to tailor your social media accordingly. Having a tool like this not only allows you to schedule it, but allows you to customize it to each individual channel. And again, the nice thing, there's a trick to this as well too, where this allows you to also post the first comment. One of the tricks of getting some more engagement from some folks is showing that there's some activity there in terms of comments. Well, you can schedule a comment ahead of time on this thing, like what we typically do if we're going to pre-schedule a post is I already pre-populate it with one comment, said for more information, click on this URL, or here's the web address. And so that's another trick that we do for this. So I find that this has been a helpful tool. An essential tool during the pandemic is being able to manage our social media accounts in one place. That way, the other thing too, the importance of this is when you're trying to get folks, new team members in, if you're dealing with contractors, we all know that if you want them to have permission in your Facebook account or your Facebook group, you have to friend them, and then you have to give them admin rights, right? So or editor rights at the very least. But with so many different contractors, it's easy to forget. Oh, okay, this person was a contractor for us 6 months ago, and they're still here as an admin. Well, if you didn't part on good terms, well, I'd be worried that they might do something bad, right? So this way, with having a social media management tool in the middle and giving them permission to that, as opposed to giving them permissions directly to your Facebook groups or your Facebook accounts or any other account, LinkedIn accounts, then you could just turn off their permissions and just change the username. And then you don't have to worry about that. You don't. You can just hire a brand new contractor or a new intern, give them permission to Publr or Buffer or something else, and then they manage social media that way. You don't have to give them direct permissions. So there's a lot of security benefits of doing it this way. So you use Buffer, right, Shah, right now for a lot of your social media?
No.
Okay. So right now you're posting individually. You're posting up to each individual account.
Well, lately, Facebook has this business suite where you can post a picture on Facebook and it will automatically generate on Instagram as long as you check the box. You must have a picture, of course, and I have been using that as of lately. Mm-hmm. However, this is why this is a great topic for me this week to hear you out. I need a better plan to be able to post to not only Facebook and Instagram, but we also have LinkedIn, which is a business account. We definitely have lots of room for growth on Twitter. So we need as much help as we possibly can get with a small team that we have. We're a team of 5.
Well, this way you'll be able to do everything all in one place, because that's right. I mean, if you could use the Facebook suite for the Facebook media, but right. We all know that we have other stuff going on, and LinkedIn is becoming more popular for especially for associations because it's more business to business. So that's this might be one to try out as well.
And YouTube, we also have YouTube. So the question with Publr, are you able to post to YouTube? So for example, we have a webinar and we share the recording, the recording afterwards. Can we set it up in Publr to post to YouTube, Facebook, not Instagram, it's way too long for Instagram, but the 2 platforms, maybe not at the same time, but somewhere around the same time?
Yeah, they recently added the capabilities of posting videos directly to YouTube so that you could do that with YouTube, Facebook, again, depending on the length, Instagram, I believe Twitter has a different thing too, but certainly, they're not the same company, right? So This allows you to not be stuck in the Facebook ecosystem. You could post it both places at the same time.
Thank you.
That's a helpful way to go about it. Again, there's other tools I've used. We used to use a thing called CoSchedule. However, that was really cost prohibitive. We used that as our editorial calendar. And so for us, it was more about value. We've had a Buffer account before, but the main reason we had a Buffer account is because it allowed for posting to Instagram. When other tools started allowing posting to Instagram as part of their scheduling software, then we kind of just...
Can you do me a favor, Lex? For those that don't know, including myself, what is a Buffer?
Well, Buffer was a buffer.com, right? The Buffer is a social media management tool as well. It's one of the more popular ones out there. I think a lot of us have, I think all of us in communications have some sort of old Buffer account that we started 5 years ago, right?
You will be surprised how many communication teams, I'm going to say pre-COVID, don't not only have a social media plan, they don't, excuse my niece, I apologize if you hear a small child. They didn't have a plan, a lot of associations, and they definitely didn't have this Buffer or the tools that you're referring to. I can't say now, but pre-COVID, 2019, they did not. And I only know that because I was new to communications. I came to a conference. I made a bunch of new friends. And then there was also a lot of individuals from other state associations that did not attend. And when I reached out to them, they didn't really have a plan. Social media wasn't a platform that people were using. It wasn't as important to them at the time as their, I guess, their emailing capabilities to their members. Now in 2021, with what all happened in 2020, I think people are looking for the tools that you're referring to, and may not have any knowledge of.
Well, that's really important because, like most associations, email is a very important part of what we do. But one of the challenges with email is deliverability. And because people, remember, we're not the only organization trying to reach our members. Busy restaurateurs, they're not going to be able to, they may have spam, they may have marked us as spam inadvertently. So, and so we get sometimes that feedback. Sometimes members, because of corporate policies or whatever, the only way they can find out what we're doing is through something like social media. And so typically everything that we post up on the web, anything that we do of substance, any member alerts that we do, we not only do on our website, not only do we do it on email, but we also make sure that we post it on our social media. And together, we hope that is able to effectively reach our membership that way. Because again, email deliverability is a moving target. It's getting more challenging because as email clients, the thing is, it's very easy to click that mark as spam button. And when they do that, it goes into the algorithms, and all of a sudden, folks in that domain that you're trying to send to Marriott, or you're trying to send to, McDonald's people. Well, if somebody along the lines mark that as spam, well, in their corporate firewalls, they're going to identify that as potential spam. It's going to reduce the likelihood that they're going to receive your email communications. So it's important to have a regimented process where you disseminate information across multiple medias at the same thing to make sure that you have your membership covered. And tools like this make it easier, right? Because it can be very overwhelming to say, oh, I gotta post to 6 social media channels, and I gotta do an email, and I gotta do a website post. Well, through this, you're able to automate some of that.
I love it. Anything that make my job easier or the team's job easier, I'll take it.
Well, one of the other things too, I'm not sure, I've never tried on Publr, but I know some other social media tools out there allow for what they call RSS automatic posting. So, if you have a WordPress site, for example, odds are you've got what they call an RSS, which is basically a news feed of every time you post to your website. That's a ubiquitous feature on WordPress. You can take that RSS feed, put it in Publr, and you can program it to say, and very easily to say, whenever I post on my website, please share this post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right? You could do that too. Now we don't do that because we want to customize it, and I've got I've got a graphics team that helps make sure that the graphics are correct. But again, if it's overwhelming and you want to just get a jump start on this stuff, at least you're able to get it out there, and then all of a sudden you post that post on WordPress, and it automatically magically goes out to social media. And so there's a trick of the trade for you, Shah.
I am so excited. Just so you know, we are in the process of moving our website over to WordPress, and our PR, our people, they're amazing, and they were like, you need to go back to WordPress. And I was like, I never took us off WordPress. I inherited what we have. And you telling me that once we post on our website, the potential for Publr to then take it and put it on our social networks will make a world of difference, especially when a new executive order comes out and there's guidelines that restaurateurs or hoteliers have to abide by. This changes the game. And you know what? I think that I will just go ahead and invest the $10 a month that I saw, that first package, because we are in the process of taking our association content to the next level. Like I said, we're moving over to we're moving over to WordPress, and we're adding a chat feature to our website, something that we weren't, which is actually a tool, Lex, come to think of it. Our people were able to find one that's affordable and in our budget. And if you don't have one, I would recommend it. It's called Cuvia. And right now you could pay for a lifetime. for lifetime, and it's like $60-$70. So we are investing in that as well to take our association to the next level.
So I'm going to show you here, right here, just to make your day. It's called automatic RSS posting. So connect unlimited RSS feeds, and Publr will constantly check your news posts on your WordPress site. You can either manually share the new posts or have Publr automatically publish those to cross all your social media channels. So that's going to help automate your process as well. So this does, again, we haven't used that feature here, but it does exist in Publr. So you give it a try and you see how it works. I believe it works pretty well though. So
it's also on hashtag suggestions.
Hashtag suggestions. Oh yeah, no, I use the hashtag suggestions all the time.
Oh,
and then the other thing too is it does watermarking for images and videos, recurring posts. So there's a lot of things that you could do. Again, stuff that would typically take, not just minutes, but sometimes hours. You could have, if you just invest the initial time in setting these systems up, you can have all these things taken care of for you. Callbacks and they have their own link shortening and stuff like that, which we can kind of go into later. But also reposting. Again, just because you post it once doesn't mean your members see it. And they're your Facebook. And then oftentimes you'll talk to members and say, "I didn't see that Facebook post." It's because they weren't paying attention to the time. Or a lot of times people take a break on social media and then they don't view it for 3 or 4 days, and then it's too late at that point. So it's important that when you post it, and again, I believe you could also set that in the automation, where you can have things automatically post, but also repost 2 days later, right? So there's a lot of little hacks that you can do that tools like Publr allow you to do. So. And that brings me to another tool, and this is a tool that I'm a big fan of. I've been into URL shortening for a long time, and what URL shortener is, that people are familiar with Bitly. But the thing about Bitly is, one, their paid plans are extremely expensive, but two, you really are limited in terms of what you can do for if you wanted to share your domain. So let's say for us, with the Hospitality Association, one of the shortened domains that we have is hospitality.fyi. So now what I can do is I can, like you can see here, if we've got long URLs to our resources and to our webinars, all these things, this allows me to create a URL. So this is like our membership podcast here. We set up a domain, hospitality.fyi/the podcast episode, have it sent over to YouTube. The nice thing about these tools is it also allows us to track the analytics. So right now I'm able to see the clicks, the unique clicks, all these things, but also provide a really shortened URL. The other thing that people don't realize that link shorteners do is that if you post something and then the URL changes, you're kind of stuck with that. Well, if you share a shortened URL, you can go back into the system, for example, and I could edit this and I could just change the URL. Right now, one of the domains that we have is wha.onl. And then this is one of our podcasts. So instead of this big, long podcast URL or a PDF, I'm setting them to this something that's easy to remember. Plus, when you have a shortened URL, it's easier to post on things like Twitter and Facebook and a lot of those things as well. So there's a lot of benefits to this. So this is one of those things that if you haven't looked into it, the tool that we use is something called Retarget Kit. Now we also have a Bitly account and we use that, but I'm starting to move things over to Retarget Kit. And it's a fairly cheap service, and there's a lot of options out there. But this is one of those things to look into, because also one of the tricks that you could do with this is what they call, and we don't use this yet, but I'm about to work on this feature where you can create a bio link, obviously for Instagram, and have it automatically populated by your link. So instead of having to create a separate graphic, a separate link, and go and create your own bio link, if you're going to create because that's a thing now, right? To create a bio link page that links to the Instagram post that you post, because you can't post links to Instagram. What you try to get them to do is to try to get them to go to your bio link, and then they click on your bio link. It automatically will show the post that you've created through the URL shortener. So that could probably be a show by itself. But
so the bio link, it'll create a bio link for your Instagram. I know we individually change it at the moment, but this changes the game and does it for you.
Yes, you can create your own bio link page through this, but and you can create bio link pages anyway. It's just one link that it goes to. But in this case, the bio link page that it would go to would automatically be populated with all of the URLs that you've shortened. Then the nice thing about Retarget Kit, which is one of the reasons why I picked it, is because it integrates with Publr. So when we post to Publr, it automatically creates a link shortener if we wanted to, and then eventually we can have those great. Again, we're streamlining the process so that we're taking the steps out, and when you do that, there's less likelihood of errors. But then, again, it makes it look like a staff of one is like a staff of 5 or 6 people, right? So that's part of the tools of the trade that we try to work on. So those are just, oh geez, I only went through 3, and then we're already 30 minutes. We could go through the rest of the stuff later on, but we're already kind of at our time. But again, social inbox, unified inbox, social media management, and URL shorteners. If you do it properly, you can combine those 3 tools together where, like what you're doing, Shah, you have a Facebook or you have a WordPress site. You can theoretically use that that RSS feed to feed into Publr that creates link shortened things that feeds your bio link, and you do that with one click of a button. And it's all of a sudden you don't have to worry about all this other stuff. And it's tracking the analytics and it's doing all that stuff. And with social inbox, you're going to be able to see the feedback right away. So if you have a negative comment or a positive comment or just a question that comes in any of your thing, you're able to kind of do it all at one place. So that's kind of the holy trinity of social media, I believe, in terms of getting started, is making sure you have the social inbox, social media management tool, and a link shortener that integrates with that social media management tool. That makes sense. I know I speak.
I have it all written down. I did take notes. I have my notes here.
Okay.
What NJRHA needs to invest in, and probably a lot of other associations as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, I did most of the time. I feel kind of guilty, Shah. So.
No. This was a learning session. I really appreciate you. You're gonna just. You told me how to step up my game. I needed to know how. That's what today was about, stepping up everyone's game. And I am grateful. Thank you for having me to listen in, because I'm excited.
Great. We'll try these out, and then maybe next week you can share how it went.
I absolutely will.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.